The fork paused halfway to my mouth. "Since you're moving out soon, we'll give your room to your sister," my mother said, like it was already decided. The others kept eating. My sister smiled over her wine, smug and sure. I swallowed my bite, forced my jaw to stay loose, and nodded. "Sure," I said. They didn't know I'd quit the lease a week ago, and that I'd taken everything with me. Backstory: the illusion of family. For most of my life, my place in that house was a role, not a room. Provider, peacemaker, the one who paid on time and asked for nothing. After my father left, I covered the rent so my mother wouldn't have to move. I handled repairs, bills, even groceries. It wasn't generosity anymore, it was expectation. I used to believe they appreciated it. That was before I overheard my sister tell her friend she couldn't wait for me to finally get out of the way. The first sign. It started with little things. My laundry accidentally ending up in garbage bags. My groceries disappearing overnight. The bathroom shelf I'd paid for cleared to make room for my sister's endless beauty products. When I confronted my mother, she just shrugged. "You're too sensitive." But the moment that sealed it came 2 weeks ago. I came home early and heard them in the kitchen. My mother, my sister, her boyfriend, laughing. "Once she's gone, we'll repaint the walls. Might even knock out the closet for more space," my mother said. They were talking about my room, like I was already gone. The decision. I didn't say a word. I didn't argue, because anger only feeds them. Instead, I smiled that night in my own bed, looking at the walls they thought they'd inherit. I'd worked too hard to furnish this space. Every piece was mine. Every lamp, every shelf, every appliance in the kitchen I'd bought because they couldn't afford it. And suddenly, I knew exactly what I was going to do. The plan. First, I called the landlord. The lease was in my name. My mother never wanted the responsibility, so she'd let me handle it. I gave my 30-day notice. He sounded disappointed, until I told him the damage I'd been covering for years, the rent I'd been paying without their contribution. He didn't need convincing. Then I scheduled movers, a discreet team, working during my mother's weekday shifts. I boxed every belonging, mine and every shared item I'd purchased. If I paid for it, it came with me. The stainless steel toaster, the washing machine, the dining table they bragged about to guests. Finally, I found a new apartment. Smaller, quieter, mine. The setup. The night before the move, I played along at dinner. My sister mentioned again how she'd make the room her own when I left. I smiled. "I'm sure you will." The next morning, while the house was empty, the movers arrived. We stripped my room bare in under an hour. Then we hit the living room, the kitchen, the laundry area. Every item gone. What remained looked like an abandoned hostel. Bare walls, dented floors, the sagging couch they'd bought before I turned 18. On the counter, I left a neat envelope with the landlord's notice, my forwarding address, and the last month's rent receipt. The confrontation, family dinner. That night, I walked into the family dinner like nothing had happened. I'd timed it perfectly. My mother had come home late from work, too tired to notice the empty spaces before we left. Halfway through the meal, she dropped her little bomb. "Since you're moving out soon, we'll give your room to your sister." I sipped my water. "You should check the house when you get back," I said casually. She frowned, not understanding. My sister rolled her eyes, thinking I was being dramatic again. The realization. We didn't speak much the rest of the dinner, but I'll never forget the moment we returned. The door opened. Silence. The echo of shoes on bare floors. "Where's the table?" my sister asked. "Where's the toaster, the washing machine?" My mother's voice was rising. I leaned in the doorway of my empty room. "Oh, I forgot to mention," I said softly. "I ended the lease last week. Everything I bought is in my new place." Her face drained. My sister's mouth opened, closed, opened again, like a fish gasping for air. The aftermath. They called me selfish. They said I'd left them with nothing. I reminded them that's exactly what they'd intended to leave me with. Then I handed my mother the envelope with the landlord's notice. "You have 30 days," I said. "Good luck." And I left. Not a slam, not a scream, just the sound of my footsteps fading down the hall. Reflection. People think revenge has to be loud to be satisfying. It doesn't. Sometimes the quietest moves hit the hardest. They wanted my room. They got the whole house instead. Empty, echoing, and slipping out from under them. I ate alone that night in